Hello, everyone. This is the first episode of my podcast. This is the pilot episode. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be recording videos straight through TikTok or if I'm going to record it through my camera roll, edit them, and then post them on YouTube. I don't know. We're going to see about that. But, anyways, today we're going to be talking about self love and why is it so important to have. I've noticed that this generation from now is scared to be alone. And they're so scared to be alone because maybe they have abandonment issues. I don't know. You have to ask yourself that. Why do I constantly need to be with someone after I break up? After I get out of that relationship. Why do I feel the need to be with someone? Why can't I just be alone? You have to ask yourself that because if it's a trauma that you have, it's totally fine. Everyone has traumas. And I definitely feel like people have to heal their trauma before they get married. Whatever it is, a lot of people have childhood trauma. I had a lot of childhood trauma, but it's healed now. I learned to heal it. And that's something that you should do too because it affects your everyday life, believe it or not. Your life could be going great. And because you're distracted at work, this and that, whatever it may be, your life could be going great. You go home, you get to your room, and right before you go to sleep, whatever the trauma is, it hits you directly. And then you have that little battle in your mind. You have that little battle in your mind, and you're like, why am I like this? Why am I thinking like this? Why am I so sad? When you should actually be grateful for everything that you have. You're very fortunate, let me tell you that. Taking a shower is a blessing. Drinking clean water is a blessing. A lot of people forget that. It's really good to enjoy the little things and to not forget how blessed you are simply by having a roof over your head. Yeah, simply by having a roof over your head. A lot of people don't have that, and yet they're still so grateful for the little things that they have. Now, anyways, I don't want to get off topic. What we were talking about was why is it important to have self love? When you don't have self love and when you don't value yourself, when you don't have standards or beliefs or anything like that, you settle for anything. And when you settle for anything, that's when the bad things happen because people that look for people that don't have value, self respect, or just things like that, they're the selfish ones because they want to treat their partner however they want. They want to control their partner however they want because they're selfish like that. When people don't have values, morals, standards, or things like that, they settle, which means they settle for less. And which means that they're going to put up with lying. They're going to put up with cheating and disrespect. Going back to the beginning, simply because they don't want to be alone. But you have to ask yourself, the person that you're dating, if they're like that with you, you have to think that that is who you will be marrying and that's who you will be having kids with. You have to think of the person in every form and every aspect because they're not just your girlfriend or boyfriend. They're going to be your partner. They're going to be your life partner. And you really have to think, do I want this person? Do I want them to be acting like that? Because if they act like that with you, imagine how they're going to treat your kids. And I myself am very selective with who I date because growing up, I did not have a good, I don't want to say like parents relationship because I know everyone struggles. I know no one is perfect. But when you grow up seeing certain things that your mom or your dad does, for me in this case, it was my dad. He was bad before. And I just saw everything that he would do to my mom and this and that. And like, it was just so bad. And like, I was a little girl. I was realizing everything. Not my brother, not my sister. I was the one that was realizing everything, what he would do. I was like, shit. Like, I was a 6-year old seeing everything, things that I wasn't supposed to be seeing coming from my dad. That's why I am very selective because since I already went through that, I don't want my kids to see the same thing. I want my kids to be healthy. Well, like not healthy, but like have a good relationship with their parents. And I don't want them to see like fighting, this and that, like extreme fighting, abuse. Because again, it's normal for partners, for relationships to argue. Here's the thing. Arguments are just arguments, and fighting is fighting. If you can't argue without fighting, then it's not worth it. That person is not worth it, because that means that they don't have self control, or they don't know how to just talk to you properly. I myself am not perfect. I'll tell you that I'm not perfect. But depending on who you're with is how you will talk in situations that matter. Now, going back to the same thing. When you have morals, values, and standards, you won't allow the disrespect, cheating, and lying once again. You won't accept that. Why? Because you're like, you don't deserve me. Get out of here. Get out of here. And when you don't have that, you tolerate that. The lying, the cheating, the disrespect. Simply because, again, they don't want to be alone. They'd rather be with someone that's going to cheat on them, lie to them, and disrespect them. Simply because they don't want to be alone. And I definitely feel like that's something that you have to work on. And it's okay. We all have to work on things. We all have problems, and we all go through bad things. Everyone. I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. But here's the thing. I try to fix my problems. Like, I've I used to party a lot. I had a lot of fun growing up, and that was awesome. And everyone's different. Everyone's different. A lot of people have whole phases, what do they call it? Whole phases and stuff like that. But again, that's something that you have to tell yourself, is the whole phase worth it? Is it worth it? Is giving my body to someone that I just met worth it? You have to think that you're a diamond. You have to think that you're a pearl, something very valuable. How can you just give that away to someone you just barely met? I didn't know that soul ties were real. I didn't even know soul ties were a thing until I realized. And and definitely you have to watch out with soul ties because they are real. So here's the thing. What I want you to do today is ask yourself, are you happy? And if you're not, write down everything that bothers you, situations, whether it's your partner, whether it's you, whether it's things you want to fix. Write it down. Second thing, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. Thank you for doing everything that you have been doing for me, which is yourself. And then you're going to hug yourself. And you're going to give yourself a pat in the back. Y luego te vas a dar un beso en el espejo. You're going to give yourself a kiss in the cheek. And the third thing that I want you to do, but this is totally up to you, okay? This is up to you. If you know that the person that you are with affects you, your everyday life, treats you bad, cheats on you, and lies to you, I want you to think, is this worth my future? Is this worth potentially having kids with them? And if the answer is no, then I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to leave it up to you. Again, we all make mistakes, and we all know why we do what we do. And then again, we all, how do I say this? Give yourself the time that you need. Give yourself the time that you need. Give yourself as much time as you need, but just remember that the clock is ticking. Give yourself as much time as you need, but just remember that the clock is ticking. Once again, this is Vita Ava here. This is the first episode, and I want you guys to have a great day. Today we talked about self-love, why it's important to have self-love, and why it's important to love yourself and to have standards, values, and morals. This is the first episode, and I'm going to be seeing when my second episode will be, because I have to know what days I'm going to be posting. But I have a lot more things to talk about. And if you enjoyed it, let me know.
If you enjoyed it, let me know.
Bye. Bye.